feedback on how it sounds because it's going to be a little bit changed. So I'm trying to think of how best to do this. Do you have a way to email me? All right, send an email to, I'll give you the address. Just sort of let me know, grainy, loud, soft. Just give me some guidance on that. Address is BSCHULZ at alger.com. All right, thanks.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. I think we're back online at this point. Hopefully the audio doesn't sound too bad. A little makeshift setup here on day 2 of the Panther Cardinal Classic. Consolation round. The good news is you missed a couple of matching minors, and now there's a scoring chance, but you haven't missed too much, and hopefully the video's been working for you so you could sort of see what's going on while we sorted out our issues. But Williams and Elmira both gave a good account of themselves yesterday on day 1, but came up a bit short against some very formidable opposition. Of course, you'll see the game in women's college hockey these days, Middlebury and Plattsburgh. That will come your way in the nightcap. But for today, every game counts, especially early in the season. So while technically this will be viewed as a consolation game, for both teams, it is an important game. You never know which comparison, which matchup is going to make a difference down the road, and especially for a team like Williams and a team like Elmira, it's still so early. You're trying to find your identity, trying to find some things about your own team, find some combinations that work for you. So every 60 minutes of hockey is an opportunity to figure out a little bit more of the puzzle as both these teams have greater designs for the season down the road. A lot of people in the penalty box right now. 2 for Elmira, 1 for Williams. So the rare 4-on-3 power play has taken hold for the Eves. And talking to Bill Manigo before the game today, one thing he pointed out to me about the Elmira squad last night, very impressed with their penalty killing prowess. He said his power play is something he usually counts on year in, year out, even on day 1. And Elmira was very effective in containing the Middlebury 5-on-4. And we'll see how they do in the 4-on-3. As the Eves dump in. Now, the Eves are the home team, but they're actually wearing the black jerseys. Lobbed out down by Elmira. And coming back to get it for the Eves and trying to move it through Jacqueline Berglass. Fielded by Amanda Ritzel. Minson Ritzel, the only freshman in the lineup for Elmira this weekend. She lobs all the way down. Logged a lot of minutes yesterday. And getting the call today, Elmira, as is their want, going with the goaltending platoon. That's what they do. Karen McGurry, the senior, and the captain, who you hear from in intermission number 2. She's between the pipes after Allison Coverly played quite well in defeat yesterday. Better than 30 saves against Middlebury. A couple of brilliant ones, especially in the first half of that contest, and a breakaway stop late as well. Lindsay Laxton at center ice. Laxton, a good two-way player out of Michigan. Dumps it all the way down for Paul Nemitz-Carlson's Soaring Eagles. And in a scoreless first with 6.5 gone. Not much doing despite all the penalties. We're finally back to 5 aside. Both these teams looking for a little bit of continuity as the Eves dump in and go for wholesale changes. And to get it, Jamie Kivy. Thrown to the point. Big drive by DePaul, and standing up out of the crouch to make the save. As Williams, we talked about finding things out. Denise McCulloch, the rare day off. Kate Schwed getting the start, junior out of Brooklyn, New York. We'll see what she can do. And that's something that Shannon Bryant is looking for. At some point, she is going to have to find a successor to Denise McCulloch. Popped into the zone by the Eves. Elmira trying to skate it back the other way. And up left wing comes Anastasia Steele-Norton. Apparently had not gained the red line, so the call made for an icing. A bit of a patient beginning here. 7:20 gone, still no score. Elmira does have 5 shots. And they got their share of shots yesterday, but the one thing I think Paul Nemitz-Carlson would like to see get better is where they get their shots from. A lot of shots in transition, a lot of shots from above the edge of the circles. Not as many with traffic in front until they got a couple power plays late. And was not able to get a lot of easy shots or close-in shots for their big gun, Kayla Cody, yesterday. Very catching one here from distance, and she'll hold on easily for the draw. Face-off will come to her right, as Tori Tausig was looking to take it, but now it will be Lauren Zurek instead. Cody wins it back to Ritzel. Ritzel being bothered from behind using that size, and she escapes out of the pile. The puck rolling to the blue line. Williams trying to step up. A little collision along the blue stripe. And Ritzel being the bigger player going against Stephanie Berger. Berger got the worst of that one as the action moves down by Kate Schwed's zone. Physical play now picking up a little bit as Berger heads off, and Ritzel picks up in the neutral zone. Trying to go far side Cody. Linesman in the way as Cody chips it to the corner. Zurek, who had a good start to her college career yesterday, and against the nation's #1 team. Little turnover off the wall. Nice pass out to the point. Kibbe, there's traffic in front. Shot is saved by Schwed with the pad. Not sure Schwed ever saw it coming in. And there was a mighty screen in front of her. But got the body in the way, and Williams gets the clear. Kibbe with the spin move in her own zone gets help from Cody. Theme we've seen all weekend from Kayla Cody, despite the prolific offensive statistics, playing a lot of defense in support of her blue liners. Nice move by Tracy Ferret over the line. Ferret with some space. Wrist shot up high off the shoulder of Kara McGurry. Kicked out to the point, stepping in for a drive and a tip that did not go through was Joey Lai. Elmira with the clearance to center. 9 minutes gone in the first. Still looking for the game's first goal here on another beautiful November day in Middlebury, Vermont. It is quite chilly, mid-30s, but the sun is out. No clouds in the sky. No wind to speak of. Very pleasant walk to the rink for myself. We get a chance to see 3 of the top 5 teams in attendance this weekend after we got a look at Wisconsin Stevens Point and Gustavus Adolphus, 2 other top 10 participants just a couple of weeks ago. So a good sampling of the best D3 hockey that's out there here early in our Game of the Week schedule. Williams trying to poke it on ahead. Catherine Shears. Now Lauren DePaul. DePaul was impressive yesterday. Here she comes again. DePaul to the backhand and Schwed. A kick save to come out to challenge. So Lauren DePaul, very impressive. You heard Paul Nemitz-Carlson talk about the potential for a breakout season from her. Sophomore out of Liverpool, New York, and she scored the only goal last night, made a lot of plays, often in tandem with Jenna McCall. And right there, knifing through the defense for the first grade A scoring opportunity for the Soaring Eagles on day 2. Shears back in her own zone. Karen Kohlauer. Kohlauer headed off along the near side wall by Berger. Thrown now out to center. Carly Richardson has some room to fire in cross ice, and she'll head off for fresh legs. Schwed will let Berglass play it behind the net. Out they come on the left wing side. The forecheck will play by Erica Godwin. Touch passing disrupted by Kohlauer. Godwin with a wrist shot. Schwed the kick save. Wound around near side. Jamie Kibbe has a lane. Blast away, but that went off a defenseman's leg. Godwin trying to turn it in front. That was broken up by Allison Page. Page and Godwin lift each other's sticks in the far corner. And now it's Berglass trying to restore order on the clearance. Ritzel at the point. Slides it down the wall. Elmira trying to establish a cycle with Farron Hart. Hart using that size in the corners, works it free, gets help from Jenna McCall, much smaller player, down on the near side wall. McCall skipping the pass, nice diagonal soft to Ritzel for a drive, didn't go through, loose in the doorstep, and Godwin forked it just wide. Up the near side boards, Kibbe doing a nice job of holding the point, tries to barrel forward toward goal, finally headed off by Page, and Page for the Eves, curls away behind her own net, gets help from Allie Morrow to push to the red line, but no further. So Williams had a momentary surge. Now Elmira back in control of the rink, if not the scoreboard, with 8:20 to go in the first period. Soaring Eagles with 10 shots to just 2 for the Eves. Backhander from an angle, sails well wide. Near side, Tiffany Hart. Down looking for Cody, foiled by Sam Tarnaski, and Tarnaski tips it free to Lauren Zurich in the far corner. Zurich, nice stick handling move to beat the first level. Takes a look at what she has, goes up the center, finds the receiver, it's Ferreter. Ferreter, far circle, trying to wrist it, now is partially blocked by Steele Norton. Tarnaski providing help in the near side corner, but it's taken now by Kayla Cody. Cody underneath the first check, uses the backhand, trying to spring Melanie Henshaw, broken up by Ferreter, and Ferreter on left wing, trying to find a room to operate. Tracy Ferreter over the line, a wrist shot to the talented sophomore, stick to side by McGurry. Centering pass denied by the reaching stick of Steele Norton. Follow-up attempt hits the side of the net, and McGurry trying to get it pinned. A big pile-up by the side of the crease on top of the 5-3 netminder for the Soaring Eagles. And she quickly hops back to her feet as the players disentangle. Wholesale changes for both teams. Off the draw, big drive sails wide. Off the stick of Carolyn Kwan. You'll hear from Kwan in today's first intermission. And a Ritzel far side, but the net knocked off its moorings. And it looked like Tausig might have gone hard into the cage as the puck had exited the zone. So we'll get a stoppage here. 7:19 on the clock in this consolation game of the Panther Cardinal Classic. And, of course, the big one coming up later today. Feels like we've been here before. Middlebury and Plattsburgh met for the last two national titles. They met in the finals of this event at Kenyon Arena 2 years ago. A game which featured, as I recall, a bevy of shorthanded goals. Middlebury getting the win in that one. Last year, though, of course, the Cardinals took out the Panthers in the semifinal round on their home rink, and then won a dramatic one in the championship game of last year's Cardinal Classic, 5-4 over Elmira. Dangerous diagonal pass in front of their own net by the East defense. They get away with it, and it turns into a pretty smooth breakout through center as they look for changes. Ritzel near side, Catherine Shears. Shears tucks the puck away from the on-rushing forecheck of Kate O'Brien. Goes up through center. And it's sent the rest of the way down as Lauren DePaul now will start to establish the forecheck for the Soaring Eagles. Williams, though, with some momentum to the blue line. That's promptly stalled by the energetic DePaul. DePaul trying to dangle her way through, foiled by the defensive Kate O'Brien. And it's tipped up right wing to the neutral zone. Baron Hart from long range. In front, DePaul, backhander, hit the inside of the pipe. Pile up in the crease. Where's the puck? The whistle finally blows. Well, Lauren DePaul continuing to make an impact at the offensive end, and only that near side post keeping it out. She had both arms raised, thought she had a talent, and instead it caught the inside of the bar and ricocheted right underneath Kate Schwed, who had to absorb some punishment in the aftermath as both teams sent waves of players into the crease. So still 0-0. Elmira's 11th shot of the afternoon. And a late substitution. Looks like Paul Emmons Carlson's going to send Jenna McCall out to take the face-off here. Discussion with Shannon Bryant over at the bench, perhaps hoping that a penalty would have been called there. We stay 5 aside. Off the draw, Amy Hunnewell reaching for it in the high slot. Couldn't control it cleanly. Gets help from Steele Norton, and it's McCall down in the far corner, matched up with Sarah Nowakowski. McCall slips a check, curls behind the net, looks to make a play to the front, bounces off a Williams skate on the far side. Taken, turned to the front. She went a little bit out of position, but the defense was right there to pick her up. Allison Page gets it to the corner. Nowakowski now behind the net. Being bothered step for step from behind, looking for someone to throw to. Skipped it over a stick, and here's a 2-on-1 for the East. Over the line, Tarnaski across Ferreter. Wrist shot, she scores! Tracy Ferreter from Sam Tarnaski. Beautiful 2-on-1, and Williams a 1-0 lead. Give a lot of credit on that play to Sarah Nowakowski. Go back to that defensive zone. A little bit of trouble for Williams. Nowakowski, cool, calm, and collected with a forechecker on her back. Floated a pass through the center. That's usually a risky proposition. You better connect when you do it, but she had designs on forwards in the neutral zone and saucered the pass over the reaching sticks of the Elmira defenders, and all of a sudden a 2-on-1 for Tarnaski and Ferreter. And Ferreter, with 15 points a year ago, picks up the first goal of her sophomore season. Nice wrist shot going against the grain. Picked it up, went to the far post as McGurry was coming across to the near side. And so Tracy Ferreter from Sam Tarnaski and should be Sarah Nowakowski. And that is, in fact, the ruling. So Ferreter from Tarnaski and Nowakowski. And Williams grabs a lead, although they will be shorthanded here as they take a penalty down in their defensive zone. .24 the time of the goal. And Ferreter and Tarnaski, those are two players that Shannon Bryant told me she's counting on for some offense. Ferreter certainly had the 15 points a year ago. Tarnaski, I recall, had a knee problem for much of the year, but is back healthy now and delivered a good service on that 2-on-1. Elmira's lone defender perhaps sloughed down a little too far. You don't want to allow that pass to get across, put your goaltender in a more vulnerable position, but Ferreter made no mistake and finished with a clean wrist shot. And so Williams a 1-0 lead despite being outshot 11-3, and those shot totals figure to become even more disparate in favor of the Soaring Eagles, with Williams in the box for another minute 47. Mallory Green, the guilty party, as Farrenhart chips it into the zone. And again, as we mentioned in the game last night, Elmira's power play, 2 for 18 coming into the tournament, struggled to find its rhythm, and so down 1-0. A good opportunity for them to perhaps get back on track, get their offense back on track, as they have just one goal on the weekend thus far. Cody, nice pass in front, but nobody home, as the two Hart sisters were a stride late getting down low. Lindsay Laxton now back in the neutral zone, feeding Cody. Cody on the backhand, content to dump it over the line, and Tiffany Hart will leg after it with her older sister right behind. Farrenhart now takes control, trying to protect the puck, leaves to the far corner. Joey Lai comes over to pick up for the penalty kill, and it's Lai now lobbing on ahead. It's hacked out to center ice, and another 2-on-1, this time shorthanded. Nice pass across, wrist shot, and this time McGurry makes the save on Tori Tausig. Williams playing well in transition here. First for the goal at even strength. Right there, a 2-on-1 shorthanded, and Tausig trying to take a play out of Ferreter's playbook, trying to put it on the opposite side, as here's Ferreter again shorthanded. That puck is tipped out of play. Tausig a good offering, and that time McGurry reaching out with the pad, able to make the stop and keep it a 1-0 game with 3:48 to go in the period and 38 seconds remaining on the power play. So the face-off, because the puck tipped out of play just outside the ring. One thing that's interesting to see about Williams, yes, they're getting outshot 11-3, but you're seeing them be a little more opportunistic offensively than they were yesterday. And some of that might have to do with the way Plattsburgh was playing, but if you're Williams, that's the position you're going to be in. You have a couple players who can make plays for you. You have to give them opportunities to stretch the ice a little bit. And they've done that here, a couple of 2-on-1s. They've converted one. They have a 1-0 lead. I think the other thing Shannon Bryant's going to monitor, it's week 1 of the season. Last year, certainly Williams very shorthanded in the personnel department. How does their gas tank hold up here on day 2 of the tournament? They have better numbers, but it is still just the beginning of the season, whereas Elmira is at game 6. East looking for the clearance. Good hold by Kivy. Quick wrist shot. That's blocked off a leg. Sliding is Tarnaski to get the clear. We're back to 5-a-side with 3 to play in the first period. Far side flipped into the zone. Rolled off the wall by Allison Page. Page on the flop, got it into the Williams bench, and so a bad break for the Eves. That'll keep the draw back down in the defensive zone. A reminder, in the first intermission, you'll hear from Williams senior forward and captain Carolyn Kwan. Kwan actually one of those players who was abroad in the first half of last year, didn't play the full season, but has been a productive player throughout the course of her career. Better than 20 goals and 20 assists in 69 games coming into this season. Eats with the clear on the near side. The chase is on, fielded by Tiffany Hart. Older sister Farron now lobbing on ahead. Back at center ice, Tiffany Hart looking for the angle, rolls it on through to Karen Kohlhauer. Kohlhauer on left wing, wheeling away from the on-rushing check. Oh, and a good vision to find the back door to Hart. Hart couldn't quite settle it down for the shot she wanted. And now Williams with control, dragging it underneath the check nicely, is Lauren Zurich. Now across looking for the shot from Erin Mandigo. Bill Mandigo's eldest daughter, playing her first weekend of college hockey. And Catherine Shears taking a deep breath behind her own net to settle things down. Tausig monitoring on the forecheck. Nice indirect pass from Shears, finding Lauren DePaul. But DePaul, a rare mishandle for her this weekend. Put herself off sides, and Williams back the other way. Neutral zone play with 1:40 to go in this first period. And we'll get a whistle here. There'll be a trip behind the play. And that should go to the Soaring Eagles as Lindsay Laxton skates over to the penalty box and climbs in. So Williams handed an opportunity here. Up 1-0 off a 2-on-1 goal. Tracy Ferreter from Sam Tarnaski and Sarah Nowakowski. Now a chance for the Eve power play in the latter stages of the first period. To get a little breathing room against the number 5 ranked team in the country. A lot of good hockey and women's hockey going on this weekend. Talked about the Mercyhurst-Clarkson series a little bit yesterday. Golden Knights with a big 3-point weekend as they continue their resurgent 2007-2008. Also look at UNH and Wisconsin, the Wildcats on that gigantic pond that they call the Whittemore Center, rallying from a 1-0 deficit after 2. How many leads does Wisconsin give up when leading after 40 minutes of play? UNH getting 2 goals in the third to come up with the 2-1 victory. Those teams will be playing again here this afternoon. Actually, that one should be getting started in about 30 minutes from now over in Durham. Lob done ahead by the Soaring Eagles. And in the final minute of play of this first period with Williams up 1-0, it's Jacqueline Berglass taking a pause behind her net. Amy Honeywell shadowing on the forecheck. Williams trying to find an angle to center. Honeywell does a good job to close off the gap. She's bumped to the ice for her troubles. And Berglass now on left wing feeds Tarnaski, who gets it deep with 37 to go in the period. And 1:03 left on the power play. Williams trying to dig it out. It's kicked out top. Berglass has a lane and traffic. Bouncing puck outside of McGurry's crease. Forwarded away by Kibbe for the moment. Tarnaski trying to turn it back to the slot area. Ferreter now provides support. 12 seconds to work with here in the period. Ferreter walking off the wall. Wrist shot kick saved by McGurry. Lively rebound over skated. And Honeywell has time to bat it all the way down. That's going to do it for the first period of play. So Tracy Ferreter from Sam Tarnaski and Sarah Nowakowski on a 2-on-1 in the latter stages of the period has staked the Williams Eves to a 1-0 lead over Elmira after a period of play, despite Elmira enjoying the shots on goal advantage by a count of 11-4. Officially 11-3 with that last Ferreter attempt not on the board yet. So both teams head to the dressing room. They're now a little bit in rhythm, and we'll see what they come up with on the other side. Of course, on the other side of this commercial break, you'll hear first from Williams senior forward and captain Carolyn Kwan. You're listening and watching to the USCHO Game of the Week. We'll be back in just a few moments.
The USCHO Game of the Week is the first ever national internet broadcast for women's college hockey. It is also individually funded. That's why the Game of the Week needs your support to maintain and expand its coverage. For more information on how to contribute, please call 212-933-0652 or send an email to uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. That's 212-933-0652 or uschobroadcast@yahoo.com.
You got a gift, son. With that gift comes a lot of responsibility. That's why we're gonna pull you out of school. We're gonna get you a big-time agent. We're gonna hold out for the biggest pro sports contract possible.
Okay, Pop.
We're gonna make heaps of cash.
Bottrell from the sharp angle, fires, and she scores! Jennifer Bottrell from along the goal line. Quick one-timer, scored! Jada Hefford, her second of the night. Exquisite finishing touch. Apps on a breakaway. Apps moving in. Wrist shot, she scored! Jillian Apps, the breakaway speed and finishing ability. My guest is Williams senior forward and captain Carolyn Kwan. And Carolyn, you had a couple of weeks of preseason at least to get a feel for this Williams squad. So tell me a little bit about the Eves here in 2007-2008.
Well, we've got a great team this year. We've got a great freshman class. There's 6 of them, so that's really exciting. And we're hoping for them all to contribute. And 4 great seniors, and we're going to add 1 more in January. So it's really exciting. We've been working a lot on a really fast style hockey, so I'm really excited.
Tell me a little bit about being a senior, being a captain on a team that has a fair amount of young talent. Tell me a little bit about how you approach the role.
Well, I just try to be positive with everyone, and all the seniors have really worked hard on setting the tone every day and working really hard, but most importantly, having fun with it every day. So.
You're also trying to replace a pretty good senior class as well. Ashley Wood, Anna Condino, Abby Taylor, not an easy task. At the same time, that's opportunity for some of the younger players. How are the people kind of embracing the roles that are out there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's impossible to replace talent like those seniors, but we're really hoping just to work together as a team and focus on all contributing. And like I said, we have 6 freshmen, so we're hoping for them all to get a good chance to contribute.
You're part of that senior class. Another member of that senior class has done a lot of work the last couple of years, Denise McCulloch. Hard to believe. She's actually a senior finally, another Toronto native as well, but she's certainly been the workhorse for this team the last couple of seasons. Tell me a little bit about what it's like playing in front of her.
Denise is incredible. We have so much trust in her, and she's just been so great for us all 4 years, and she's been playing great so far this November, so we're really excited.
This team at the start of last year was certainly shorthanded. I mean, you did the best you could, but you had a number of players, including yourself, who actually missed a couple of games up front. Tell me about the team this year. I mean, how full strength are you, and how much maybe did it help just kind of having to go through that last year?
I think it was tough. It was really tough, and especially when we came back, people's roles were all up in the air, and the positions were thrown off. So it's really nice to have some constancy. And just speaking on the constancy note, also having Coach Bryant for our second year, things really this year, it's really made a huge difference all through preseason just to have constance. And it's been great because we've really built a team identity, and we're all together. We're all on the same page. So it's been nice to have that.
Let me ask you a little bit more about that. That was going to be one of my other questions, which is, certainly there have been a number of coaching changes back and forth at Williams the last couple of seasons.
Yep.
To have Shannon Bryant a couple years in a row, she knows you, you know her. How has it changed the relationship? How has it made things go a little bit quicker this time around?
Well, we're definitely more used to her style this time around, and it's the returning players have all. I mean, we spent a lot of time with her and really getting to know her. So it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's really fun getting to know her, actually. So.
Talking with Williams captain Carolyn Kwan. Going to shift gears on you a little bit. Go to personal background. You're from hockey hotbed of Toronto, Ontario. Every player that comes on this program has sort of a hockey origin story from way back when. So rewind the clock for me. How did you first get mixed up in the game?
Oh, wow. Well, that was a long time ago. Actually, my cousin, who I just idolized when I was younger, he got into it. He caught the Toronto Maple Leafs fever, and so we both just decided to start playing. And it's pretty easy in Toronto. There's rinks everywhere. There's about 5 outdoor rinks within walking distance of my place, so it's great.
It's a journey that eventually led you to U.S. College, and as you went through sort of your college process, tell me about some of the things you were looking for. I know obviously the trip from Toronto to Williamstown, not the shortest one out there, so tell me a little bit about what it was about the school, what it was about the hockey that kind of convinced you that was the right place for you to go.
It was a lot to do with the school. It was really just a small school. It really felt like a great community. The hockey program really felt like the school gives a lot to the hockey program. It felt like a family when they came there. I remember the coach recruiting me kept referring to it as a family, and not just the hockey team, but the whole Williams campus really feels like that.
Now that you're in your senior year, you've had a couple of years to kind of fine-tune your game at the college level, have over 20 goals, 40 points in your career. Tell me a little bit about some of the things that you have been working on in preparation for your final season.
Oh, wow. A lot, really a lot. Adapting to coach's style has been a lot of fun. Just learning how to play every position really well, working with speed, and just flying out there has really been a big part of it.
You mentioned speed a couple of times, so tell me a little bit about the style of play that's been implemented. When Williams is on its game this year, what should that game look like?
Well, we play 2-3, so we have two people that are forwards and two people that are sort of, I guess the closest thing would be midfielders, something like that. And so when we're really on our game, we can have four people deep in the offensive zone creating, and the midfielder people have a lot of opportunity to just go up and fly and get involved in the offense. So it's a very offensive style, and it's a fast style, so it's really fun.
The other part of being a senior is, of course, the off-ice aspect. That's the scary part, which is people starting to ask you about your future. If I make you take that peek ahead past graduation, what are some of the things you might see Carolyn Kwan doing, whether it's inside a hockey rink or totally away from the sport?
Well, I'm looking into teaching. So depending on where I teach, it would be wonderful to be involved with a hockey team, helping out coaching. But definitely teaching for a year or two, and I'm looking into a couple of fellowships.
Well, let's get back to the task at hand. Season opener this weekend, the Middlebury tournament, or the tournament wherever it's played, whether it be Plattsburgh or at Kenyon Arena. Certainly one of the highlights on the Division III schedule. Gets together some of the best teams in the country. And I guess if you're going to open up your season, might as well open up in style against the defending NCAA champions in Plattsburgh. Tell me a little bit about kind of expectations and maybe what your message is going to be to the team before they take the ice in the game for the first time.
Sure. Well, we were just talking about this, actually. We love this opportunity to play with three of the best teams in the nation. And we just look at it as we're so lucky to get to start our season playing at such a high level and really challenge ourselves. And we just talked about embracing the challenge and knowing that it's going to be a challenge. These teams are good, but doing the best we can and being happy with ourselves and playing our game.
Thoughts of Williams senior forward and captain Carolyn Kwan, still between periods 1 and 2 here. Day 2 of the Panther Cardinal Classic. And the first game of the day, Williams with a 1-0 lead over Elmira, as you can see on the scoreboard and on our little score overlay in the corner. Apologies again for the technical difficulties at the start, but we actually think we got to a place that actually might sound and look a little better than we were yesterday, so always the battle to improve. And that'll improve for both teams ongoing. For Elmira, really, this weekend has been one where they've been a little bit starved for offense. They have 11 shots in the first period, but have not been able to find the mark. Their best chance, Lauren DePaul hitting the inside of the pipe on a beautiful backhand offering in front, continuing a good weekend for DePaul, but that was foiled, and Williams was able to convert. They were opportunistic. They had 2 2-on-1s. Those are really their big scoring opportunities in the first period, and the goal they scored started way back behind their net. Sarah Nowakowski. Sarah Nowakowski behind her own net was kind of skating out under duress. Saucer to pass through the neutral zone and was able to find a teammate in the form of Sam Tarnaski, and Tarnaski was able to then turn that into a 2-on-1 with Tracy Farrader. The Elmira defenseman sloughing off and allowing the pass across. And Tarnaski got it into the hands of Farrader on the forehand, and Farrader went far side past the pad of McGurry. Farrader's first of the season at 14-24. Williams ending up with 5 shots to their credit, and they do still have 27 seconds of power play time when the second period resumes. A reminder, coming up later today, the big game in women's hockey at the D3 level last couple of seasons, top-ranked Plattsburgh, undefeated in 34 consecutive outings. They will put that streak on the line against the last team to hand them a loss. That would be the Middlebury Panthers, and that game would be the 2006 National Championship game. Plattsburgh running the table at 27-0-2 last year, starting out 5-0 this season. Middlebury getting its season off on the right foot last night, 1-0. And really, this sets up to be a prime contest. Looking at the way some of the marquee players showed up yesterday. Danielle Blanchard with both goals, a lot of hard work, her usual assortment of brilliance at both ends in game one. And then you look at Anne-Marie Salino, dominant in the nightcap and really finding what looks to be a winning combination in that 2-3 system in the form of freshman Anna McNally. Those two combining for all 3 goals and 5 points on the evening. And so those players will be at the head of the line as they go head-to-head later in the championship game of this Panther Cardinal Classic. As we mentioned, also big hockey elsewhere. UNH in Wisconsin, Game 2 should be getting underway in just a few minutes at the D1 level. Mercyhurst and Clarkson. Also Minnesota Duluth playing both of their series in the first half of this season. And a wild sequence of games for those two longtime rivals. Minnesota, an emotional sweep at home on the weekend in which they celebrated the 10th anniversary of their program and also mourned the passing of their longtime trainer. Minnesota Duluth, however, clearly finding some retribution yesterday. A little bit unorthodox fashion. They won the game 5-0, but the story might have been Kim Martine making 50 saves in the shutout, including a penalty shot, redeeming herself for some lackluster outings against the Gophers in years past. So those two will be back at it again today as well. And we return to the Division I ranks. Starting Thanksgiving weekend, Friday night, big weekend in the ECAC Hockey League, kind of big week in the ECAC Hockey League as St. Lawrence and Clarkson, a formidable travel pairing. They will make the trip to Dartmouth and Harvard, a perennial powerful travel pairing in the ECAC League. We'll have the St. Lawrence-Dartmouth game Friday at 7 p.m. Former Dartmouth star and Tiffany Haig will come back on the show and join us for that. And then the following Tuesday, right back to Hanover, New Hampshire for Harvard's visit to Dartmouth. So a couple of huge games at the Division I level. And then we switch to the postgraduate ranks. December 1st, Calgary Oval Extreme. Haley Wickenheiser, Carla McLeod leading that team down from Canada to play Natalie Darwitz, Angela Ruggiero, Winnie Broughton Company on the Minnesota Whitecaps, our first Western Women's Hockey League game. And the week after that, if that wasn't enough, we go to Toronto for our first ever Canadian Women's Hockey League game. I'm sure you've seen the promos that we've been running pretty much nonstop as the Brampton Thunder, led by Jillian Apps, Jana Hefford, Molly Engstrom, among others, will play host to the Burlington Barracudas, featuring former Niagara All-American goaltender Tanya Pinelli and Canadian Olympic defenseman Becky Keller, among others. So I hope you join us for that December 8th. But right here now, second period underway. Power play is over, so we're back to 5-a-side. And Elmira continues to be very smooth on the PK this weekend, an area of strength for them. A little contact in front. Kate Schwed getting a stick into the way of Jamie Huntley. But back the other way. Chance for Carolyn Kwan. Stop and go move 1-on-3. Looking for some help. She's bumped to the ice. The trailer lets loose with a drive. And McGurry will seal it. That was Catherine Mullen who got one away from long range. McGurry settling things down and then has a little bit of an equipment issue, so she cleans off her skate blade before play resumes. McGurry, the 5'3" senior from Winnipeg, Manitoba. You'll hear from her in between periods 2 and 3. Off the draw. Stephanie Berger lobbing deep behind the cage. Ritzel leaving for Kibbe. Kibbe on the bank, looking to spring Lauren DePaul. Good service. DePaul on left wing has some room, cutting through the center. Still on the backhand is DePaul. Lays it across Kohlauer, and she wrists it off the side of the net. Not quite a lot of angle for her to work with, but still, Lauren DePaul again in the middle of things offensively. She has hands down been Elmira's best offensive player this weekend. 5'3" sophomore from New York. You know, on the season, came into the weekend 2 goals in 4 games, picked up a goal last night. Go back to last year, was not a big scorer, 4 goals, 6 assists, but Paul Emmons-Carlson felt she finished the season well and really came back strong, and that's definitely been the tale this weekend. One thing we haven't mentioned yet this weekend is that a lot of the star players, Kayla Cody, as you see, taking the ice right now, I mentioned Salino, mentioned Blanchard. You know, these are some of the candidates for the Division III National Player of the Year award, which is named after former Elmira superstar Laura Hurd, tragically killed in a car accident just over a year ago. And a good way for the division to remember one of the game's great players, 237 career points, leading Elmira 2 consecutive national championships, the nation's leading scorer in her freshman season. And just kept on keeping on all throughout her 4-year career. only had a chance to see her once on the program. Our first D3 game actually was won by Elmira 3-2 in overtime against Middlebury. Herb, I believe, with a couple of assists in that game, but you could see the brilliance of her playmaking on that day, and definitely a material loss to the sport to not have her with us. Off the draw, Tiffany Hart beating Melanie Henshaw with a blast. Kate Schwed, the stick stave, and very quietly, Schwed, 11 for having it 12 for 12 on save opportunities. Sending a message to Shannon Bryant that she can play a little bit. Denise McCulloch doesn't have to go and play 25, 28 games this year necessarily. So Schwed also auditioning for the #1 role in next year as well. Off the draw comes another shot in. Stick save is made. A rebound. They score. Jenna McCall on the doorstep tucks one past. And finally, Elmira gets some traffic to the front. They get players for a second opportunity. And McCall makes Williams pay. We're tied at 1. So Schwed made the initial save. The defense did not clear out. There were a couple of Soaring Eagles that time camped out on the crease. And Jenna McCall, she travels at only 4'11" on attempts for Ontario. She can make plays, and we saw her last night. Isn't playing with Lauren DePaul today. They're actually playing on separate lines. McCall playing with Kayla Cody, DePaul playing with Farron Hart. But McCall showed herself to be a good playmaker yesterday, setting up DePaul for the only goal. That time she finishes, and so we're tied at 1 as the battle has been joined here early in the second period. McCall had come into the weekend off to the good start in her sophomore season. Her 4th goal to go along with 3 assists, 7 points now in her 6th outing. And go back to last year, 31 points as a freshman. Face off to the left of Kara McGurry. We're tied at 1. 3:17 gone in the second period. Centering pass in front, wrist shot. McGurry comes out high and makes the save as Sarah Nowakowski had leaked down low and was available. But McGurry, perhaps similar to the way Denise McCulloch would have played that, came a couple of steps outside the crease to cut down the time and cut down the angle, and came up with the pad stop to preserve the 1-1 deadlock. Off the draw. Williams curling with it in a high slot, broken up and cleared by DePaul. Back to get it, Mallory Green, junior defenseman from Alberta, sending it all the way down. Icing waved off here. McGurry had the arm in the air. She was hoping for the whistle, didn't get it. Kivy leaves behind the cage now, and it's Steele Norton for the Soaring Eagles. Left wing side, DePaul at center, trying to thread her way through a defender, lost her stick in the process. And Zurich broke that one up. Clearing attempt, though, foiled, dangerous pass. Hart lays it down low. DePaul in tight, wrist shot. Schwed made the save. Rebound is loose, and the puck trickles past the crease area. Almost too many options that time. You can almost see the hesitation as DePaul and Kolau were kind of like, no, you take it. And finally, Schwed was able to make the stop, and the follow-up was pushed wide. Jamie Kivy on the near side wall gets the dump in, and she was at the end of her shift. Berger far side for the East will let it go on through, and it will be Catherine Mullen instead, handing it back to Berger, who pushes to the red line, where Kayla Cody is waiting for Elmira. Tiffany Hart, right wing side. Jenna McCall, player available. Here comes Cody in all alone. Cody trying to fake and shoot, and Schwed came out to make the pad save. Things opening up a bit here in period number 2. Both teams with some chances, and Elmira's best scorer with her best scoring opportunity of this tournament. And maybe another one forthcoming here. Henshaw, wrist shot, Schwed with a pad save, and she holds on as Cody was camped out on the crease. Well, Elmira taking advantage of a couple of Williams miscues on the breakout, but Schwed bailing out her defense to keep the game 1-1. This after McGurry had stopped Nowakowski at point-blank range at the other end. Floated up the wall and down. This should be an icing on the Eves, and there's the call. 5:10 expired in the second period. Tied at 1 apiece in this consolation game of the Panther Cardinal Classic. Our final Division III game of our schedule won't come until February, but it will be in this very facility when Amherst, led by outstanding sophomore netminder Kristen Ellick, comes to town. in the game that has swiftly become one of the NESCAC's best. You know, for years it was Middlebury and Bowdoin, and Williams consistently knocked at the door as well, and Amherst burst onto the scene last year, and they, with all the young talent that they have led by Ellick, they appear to be here to stay as well. Left behind the net, Williams trying to find an angle. Elmira very aggressive on the breakout. Huntley was all alone in front as Laxton tried to hack it to her. Still down low, dangerous puck in front. Carly Richardson steps into a wrist shot and missed the near pipe. Couldn't ask for a better look as Elmira is swarming right now, trying to get their first lead of this tournament. Big drive, heavy traffic in front. The tip did not go through. Laxton far side. She's buzzing right now with Richardson and Huntley up front. Richardson trying to hold his own, couldn't quite do so. Tucks it back in with some teammates off sides, and now Elmira will get a well-deserved change for that trio of forwards. Breakout foiled again. Here's Kibbe laying it to the corner. Farron Hart trying to center. DePaul went to the front. Pass didn't get through, and it's floated back to neutral ice. Nice poke check, though, by Tracy Ferreter, trying to tilt the rink the other way. McGurry plays it aside from the onrushing Federer. And it's Tiffany Hart now, saucering one ahead, past Kohlauer. Poked on through by DePaul. Kohlauer giving chase against Nowakowski. Nowakowski protecting behind her own net, goes to the near side. Breaking that up, Farron Hart. Allie Morrow lays it back down low. DePaul with the steal. Short side, she walks in front of the backhand, and Schwed seals it off in the nick of time to get the whistle and the cover. DePaul, a crafty move. The convention would have been to go behind the net and either try to wrap it on the far side or try to center from there. She tried to take the quick route to goal. Almost caught Schwed leaking off that near post, but Schwed reached back with the leg and made the save. We stay 1-1. 16th shot of the proceedings for the Soaring Eagles. Williams now leaking a player into the neutral zone. It's Morrow trying to stretch the ice a little bit. Saw Elmira do some of that last night against Middlebury to no avail. Now Williams finally cleanly to center as Allison Page will just carry it end to end. Page with a full head of steam. Page trying to go coast to coast. Shoulder saved by McGurry. Loose by the side of the net. Rolls behind, trying to jam it in front. And McGurry actually took the net off its moorings as Williams was trying to stuff it home. And that's really been kind of the team that Williams has been this week, at a counter-attacking team, a counter-punching team. And we saw in the first period they have at least some personnel who can deliver the knockout blow if given that kind of opportunity. Right there, after being on their heels for a couple of minutes, come right back with a grade A scoring opportunity. We stay 1-1. Ritzel, dangerous play, trying to walk in front of her own net, turns the puck over. Nice backhand pass in front, but a poke check from behind by Catherine Shears saves the day. Long lead pass through center. Henshaw trying to catch up, didn't make contact. No whistle, though, so icing waved off, and we play on in the Williams zone. Williams now with 8 shots. Those last 2 excellent shots. Here's Cody with a steal. In walks Kayla Cody. Fakes, shoots, scores! Kayla Cody. Beautiful move to the forehand, and Elmira with a 2-1 lead. Kayla Cody is Elmira's big gun, and she's been silent this weekend. She's done a lot of good work defensively, but it's almost been expending so much energy there. I haven't seen much of her at the offensive end, but saw a good opportunity earlier in this period that went begging as Schwed made a nice save, but she made no mistake. Gave herself a little bit more room to make her deke that time. Got Schwed out of position and tucked home the goal, her 5th of the season and 45th of her career in just 60 career appearances. Laxton to the front. Wrist shot nearly batted in by Huntley, who was spun around by Stephanie Berger. So 2-1 Elmira, 12:15 to go in the second period. That goal should be Cody unassisted. And she stripped the Williams defenseman and went in alone for her 5th goal of the season, reaching 10 points in just 6 games. And now 1 point away from the century mark. 99 career points for Kayla Cody. Off the drop, Ritzel has a chance to step in, fires through a screen, and that was almost deflected home. Elmira doing a much better job here in the second period of getting traffic to the net. There's going to be a penalty here, and that's going to go to the Eafs as well, as Lindsay Laxton was dumped in the corner. The call made for tripping, and so the problem is multiplying for Shannon Bryant's squad. With Elmira up 2-1, they'll have a chance to parlay that into a 2-goal margin for the first time as their offense has sprung to life. And again, this is the department. If there's one or two other things Paul Nemitz-Carlson will want to get done on the weekend, get a win, obviously first and foremost, but number 2, get that power play going, just 2 power play goals on the season. And now about 25 opportunities. Off the draw, Williams gets the control, and Ferreter fires it all the way down. Kibbe skates back to play it. So Kibbe, Steele, Norton, DePaul, McCall, and Henshaw. A smaller forward unit. Williams has Tarnasky and Ferreter up front, with O'Brien and Joey Lai manning the blue line. First 30 seconds, all Williams on this Elmira power play. Kibbe steps forward. That pass broken up by Ferreter. And McCall finally gets it deep. Henshaw speeds after it in the far corner. Taps it over to Lauren DePaul. DePaul peeks out the near side, feeding Steele Norton. Slap shot with a screen in front, went through untouched to the back wall. Karam is handled by Joey Lai with Henshaw draped on her back. Lai on the backhand, pokes it through Henshaw's skates. Now Henshaw with it. Nice pass across DePaul. Wrist shot, kick, save, Swed. Rebound, DePaul, she scores! Lauren DePaul with the tenacity in front. And a power play goal finally for Elmira. It's 3-1. So 2 parts to that play. One, DePaul, good finishing skills. The first shot was a good shot. Swed with a nice save with the right leg. The rebound, though, came straight back out into the crease. And so DePaul was able to tee it up again without a defender around her. This time lifted the puck. Good idea on the follow to score. But also, how about that pass from Henshaw? Henshaw, along the wall, put a charge into that pass. Had to get it through a couple of sticks and skates to get it to DePaul in the first place. So a good service from her. And so DePaul with the power play goal, her second goal of the weekend. McCall picked up an assist as well. So DePaul from Henshaw and McCall on the power play. And Elmira has a 3-1 lead after Cody had scored unassisted. And Jenna McCall had actually picked up the first goal for the Soaring Eagles. So it's been an excellent second period on the offensive end for Paul Nemitz Carlson's squad. I mentioned getting that power play goal. They do get a power play goal. We'll see if that galvanizes the unit in coming weeks. Elmira with a 3-1 lead. Now 20 shots on goal for them. Williams with just 8 attempts, although of those 8, you'd probably say 3 or 4 in the grade A variety, including the one that they scored. And here's maybe another chance in front. A good idea trying to pass it across was Nowakowski, but Page had kind of stayed back, stayed high. And now it's Godwin the other way, 2-on-1 up. They hurry. Erica Godwin has Karen Kohlauer available. Godwin backhand centering pass. Schwed got in the way of that, and Williams gets the clear. Kibbe at center ice, waits for teammates to tag up and get on side. Now she lobs it deep. And it's Berglass in the far corner for the Eves. Far side, Elmira trying to hold. Kibbe knocked it down with the glove. No hand pass called, so she'll put it deep and allow her forward unit to get off as Cody comes on for the forecheck. Far side, lobbed on ahead. Taken by Erin Mandigo. Mandigo legs after it. 11-on-11 as she meets Kibbe in the corner. McCall now takes back, the assistant captain in just her sophomore season, trying to restore order on the breakout. Sends far side to Kibbe. Kibbe, heavy forecheck being applied by Williams. Has Elmira a bit discombobulated right now. McCall trying to settle things down. Comes out in front of her own net. And now it's banked on ahead to Cody in stride. Cody on left wing. Henshaw's the trailer. McCall is driving. Cody steps around the check using that strength. Trying to walk it to the front. Lost the handle. Then try to center on the backhand. And there was nobody home except the Eve defense. And back the other way goes Mandigo getting the dump down. Steele Norton pulling it away from the on-rushing forechecker. Comes out the near side. Monitored by Mallory Green. The bank pass to Henshaw. She catches up and stays on side. Centering pass across intended for Cody. Broken up by Stephanie Berger. Back the other way goes Ferreter. Ferreter, the lone goal scorer for the Eve, steps over the line. Lost, though, as she was bothered by the defense. And Cody back the other way as things open up a little bit again. Headman pass thrown through center. Elmira breaks that up. With 8:20 to go in the second period, Elmira with goals from McCall, DePaul, and Cody. Williams with a tally from Ferreter. And that's where we stand, 3-1 Soaring Eagles. As a headman pass, nice tip by Jamie Huntley. Could she get inside the defender? Instead, a great diving recovery by Carolyn Kwan, the captain, to stall what could have been a potential break-in for Huntley. Huntley now centers for Richardson. There's going to be a penalty here, and I believe it's going to go the way of the East as Huntley was dumped to the ice. And there is the whistle. So Jamie Huntley, good energetic shift for her. And she draws a 2-minute minor penalty for checking. And Elmira, fresh off its power play success on the last sequence, will get a chance to extend its margin here with 7:55 showing on the second period clock. And here comes the trio that combined for that power play goal: DePaul, McCall, and Henshaw, with Steele, Norton, and Kibbe manning the points. Williams is going to send, looks like Morrow, Lai, O'Brien, and Tausig out to start the 4-on-5. Elmira wins the draw. Steele Norton with a drive in front, reaching for it. McCall spinning shot, didn't quite get a clean handle on it. Far shot, it's Henshaw. Up top on the swing now near side, Steele Norton down low, Lauren DePaul. Elmira looking much more organized now off that goal. Executing with some confidence. Shot by Henshaw from the angle, and Schwed had clear line of sight of it. Didn't cover it up, though. It's still loose by the side of the cage. Finally gathered by Joey Lai. Lai neatly banks it to herself, finds the angle to cannon it to center. No further than that, though. Quick turnaround by Kibbe. No icing here. So Kate O'Brien will bump it far side. And Lai will blast it back out to the neutral zone as Tarnaski trying to give chase shorthanded. Steele Norton pulls it away from the forecheck. Tarnaski, though, forces the turnover. Trying to transfer and get in front. Tarnaski wrestled to the ice, hoping for a call, and will get it from Steele Norton. So the tenacity of Sam Tarnaski shorthanded is going to even things up here at 4 skaters apiece. As Elmira will send Anastasia Steele Norton to the penalty box. And things will open up here. 4-on-4 for a minute and 1 second, and then Williams will get an abbreviated power play opportunity, trailing by a count of 3-1. Catherine Shears off the defensive zone draw win. Has Cody available, goes up the center of the ice instead to Laxton. That pass broken up eventually by Mallory Green, but taken back by Cody, who overskates. Stays on side, 4-on-4 feeding Shears. Shears trying to dangle her way through, does get to it behind the net. Still protecting on the backhand. Cody available in front, trying to get it to the big target, number 5. Cody has to retrieve behind the cage, sweeps it free now to Laxton, who lays it across for a drive from Ritzel that's blocked by the stick of Tarnaski. Mallory Green, far corner. Up the wall, rolling in space. It's carried forward by Tarnaski. This could be a breakaway. Tarnaski trying to set sail for the races. Moves in, wrist shot, and McGurry makes the shoulder save. The net looks like it's off a little bit, and McGurry puts it on its pegs so Laxton can charge back the other way and counterattack in this 4-on-4. That's just about over. 4 seconds. Williams will be on the power play, but Kibbe has in the offensive zone. Her shot in on Schwed is swallowed up. Schwed wants to play it, but Kohlauer does a good job of getting in tight to force the whistle, so Williams will start their power play of 56 seconds from their defensive zone. Off the draw. Page holding behind her own net, comes near side now. Nice diagonal pass, but not enough on it. Unfortunately for Williams, Tiffany Harp and McNeil were offside. Williams this time able to win the faceoff. Bank pass far side. Could be a 3-on-1 if they hurry. Trying to tee up a wrist shot. Recovery defense. A scramble is on in front. I don't think a shot ever reached McGurry through all of that. Down low, though. Allie Morrow wraps it around near side. Allison Page turning. Finding the point outlet. It's Kate O'Brien. Wrister toward goal. Tipped in front. Saved by McGurry. McGurry reaching after it. Gets the cover as she lost her stick. Good design by the Williams power play as they sent Morrow to the front. And O'Brien got it away quickly, but McGurry made the adjustment and the cover. the draw. Ritzel wraps it behind the net, and Shears giving chase in the corner. Shears will cannon it down. That's going to do it for the Williams power play. Coming up on 5 to go in this second period in the Panther Cardinal Classic consolation game. I see the Plattsburgh Cardinals team sitting in their warm-ups on the far side as they watch the proceedings. They will, of course, put their 34-game unbeaten streak on the line later today against number 2 ranked Middlebury, the last team to defeat Kevin Ewell's squad. Amy Hunnewell leading Jenna McCall through center. McCall with some space on the left wing side, assumes the playmaking position. The trailer is Shears, and she bats the one-timer just wide. Shears trying to center now. McCall, the outlet up top is Ritzel. Floats it toward goal. Schwed with a save through heavy traffic. And McCall buzzing everywhere in the offensive zone. Comes up with it again. Up now Ritzel with a drive. That was well wide. A lively ricochet out the far boards. Elmira still with attack zone time. Finally broken up and cleared. And there goes Allison Page on the right wing side. Page with some speed. Has a trailer in front. Centering pass denied neatly by a diving Ritzel. Page again up through the slot. Finally handled by Berger. Her shot is blocked. And maybe a chance for Shears at the end of a very long shift. So she'll just play dump and chase and peel off for the bench. Lauren DePaul now in the forecheck. Hart, wrist shot, kick save Schwed. Farron Hart, good look from between the circles. And Kate Schwed continues to be pretty impressive. 23 saves for her in her first appearance of the season. After Denise McCulloch made about 30 saves yesterday against Plattsburgh. Drive, save off a deflection by Schwed. Kivy on the follow, pinching. Wheels it now to Karen Kohlauer. Kohlauer with the wrist shot, tipped in front, and Schwed again makes the adjustment as the fluttering puck crawls up her pads but goes right into her glove. Kate Schwed taking a couple skates away from the crease as she has been under duress in this recent shifts. Probably the best that Elmira's looked 5-on-5 this weekend. A couple of good looks, getting some tips, getting some deflections, but Schwed able to stop them all so far. 3:17 now left to go in the second period. Reminder, Karen McGurry, our second period guest. Carolyn Kwan, diagonal pass, finds some space on the right wing side for Kate O'Brien. O'Brien with a wrist shot in transition. McGurry bobbled it, left a rebound, and then crawled and clambered out of her crease to cover it as Ferreter was by the crease. And I think Laxton might get tagged with a penalty here for dumping Ferreter after the whistle. Yep, Lindsay Laxton is headed off to the penalty box. So late in this second period, Elmira enjoying a 28-12 shots advantage and 3-1 on the scoreboard. But Williams now with a power play opportunity, full 2 minutes, offensive zone draw, chance for them to get back in it. Late substitution to get their 5-some out there. Hesitation. We'll redo this draw. Looks like Morrow's going to finally come in to take it against Tori McNeil. McNeil wins it back to Shears. Shears looking for the clear. Held by Kate O'Brien. Down behind the net. Kwan pressing the issue. Tipped it in front. Intercepted by Karen Kohlauer. Kohlauer wisely to the air. Lobs it all the way down. Steal by Shears shorthanded. Pokes it down to Tori McNeil. McNeil, sharp angle shot. Had nothing to work with. Caught the side of the net on the outside. Left wing side pass too far for Allie Morrow. Fired back, but stolen. And now here's Kwan over the line. Kwan trying to dangle through. Double team. Lost possession. Kohlauer couldn't clear. It's still rolling just inside the blue line. And finally batted out by a reaching Karen Kohlauer. Near side it come. Thrown the rest of the way down and in as McCurry will leave it for Tiffany Hart. Patient is Kohlauer. Good penalty killing shift for her. She bumps it all the way down as Schwed will stop it aside for the defense with 48 seconds to go on the Williams man advantage. Rolled up the right wing boards into Williams offensive real estate, but they can't do much with it as McCall has possession. And again, thinking three-dimensionally, pitchforks it all the way down the ice. With a 1:29 to go in the second period, 25 seconds left on the man advantage for the Eves. Ritzel far side, peels away from the on-rushing forecheck, feeds McCall, and McCall calmly sends it the distance one more time. That should just about do it for the Williams power play. Wrapped around to the near side. Thrown out to the front. Williams finally set up trying to center. That's blocked away. Taken back by Henshaw. And Henshaw has a player breaking ahead. It's Erica Godwin. Cody is leaking toward the crease. Centering pass. Cody picks up, follows. Swed shuts it down. As Cody was in the right place at the right time, but didn't have enough room maybe to put that one away or get the puck up. Far side, Berglass on the headman. Tarnaski tips it out of the zone with 25 seconds to go in the period. And Tiffany Hart strides back to play it in her own zone. Nice headman pass. Kayla Cody, right wing side. Threw it to the middle. Blocked away by Allie Morrow and out. Steele Norton backpedaling in her own zone. Floats it far side where it's gloved down by Lauren DePaul. Broken up though and kicked forward by Kate O'Brien. Williams trying to center it before the horn sounds. Quan couldn't get a shot away until after time had expired. So a good period for Paul Nemitz-Carlson's Soaring Eagles. They launched 18 shots in that second period and are finally rewarded on the score sheet as Kayla Cody broke the 1-1 tie with a breakaway goal off a turnover, and then it was a power play goal that was a long time coming for Elmira as Lauren DePaul got two good looks in tight off a nice feed from Melanie Henshaw, and after 2 periods of play, it is Elmira 3 and Williams 1. We'll step aside for a commercial break. On the other side, you'll hear from Elmira captain and senior goaltender Karen McGurry. You're watching and listening to the USCHO Game of the Week. We'll be back in just a moment.
Bottrell from the sharp angle, fires and she scores! Jennifer Bottrell from along the goal line. Quick one-timer, scored! Jana Hefford, her second of the night. Exquisite finishing touch. Apps on a breakaway. Apps moving in. Wrist shot, she scored! Jillian Apps, the breakaway speed and finishing ability.
My guest is Elmira senior goaltender and Captain Kara McGurry. And Kara, you've had a couple of weeks in preseason and a couple of weeks of game action here to get a look at your 5th-ranked Elmira team. So give me the appraisal. You've been part of some great teams in the past. Tell me how this one is shaping up so far.
This team looks great so far, and we knew it would be at the end of last season. I mean, we ended last season on such a rough ending. You know, we finished our game with Plattsburgh expecting to have possibly 3 more games and had none. So we knew coming out of that bitter loss that we were going to be ready for this season. And, you know, women's hockey is getting better everywhere we are. And over 4 years I've watched my team get better. And talent-wise, we have such an incredible team, and we expect to keep winning this year.
Now you've got the responsibility of both being one of the top goaltenders and also being a captain. We don't see that too often, a goaltender with the C. Tell me a little bit about how you go about being, you know, an official leader for this team.
Well, captains have roles on and off the ice, and obviously a goaltender can't be a part of the team dynamics, you know, in the offensive zone. But so much of being a captain and a leader on the team involves off the ice, in the locker room, and just kind of knowing your teammates. That's one of the reasons why this position was offered to me in the first place, is because as a team, we just need that person off the ice to kind of take charge. And, it hasn't, I know last year it was one of the big questions Coach always had for me was how are you doing being a goalie and a captain? And I don't know how to be a player, so I can't really compare it to anything. I've always just taken it in stride and kind of gone with my instincts with how to be a captain and a goalie, I guess.
Now tell me a little bit about some of the things you've been working on. You're a senior, got kind of 42 games under your belt, 29 victories already in your career. You come back for your final year. What are some of the things you've been trying to fine-tune about the way you play the position?
Winning is always what you want to do, essentially, and all the little steps in between are the ones you take to try and get that. I think that I can confidently say that, playing at the college level for 3 full seasons now, kind of not including my first year, having not really played any major games, behind Edith Racine that year. But, going into my 4th year, I think playing with the pressure of college hockey and those big types of games, I think that's what I've learned how to do most. And everything else, all the preparation off in practice, that's been every year. Heading into this year, hopefully I'll be able to take all my experience and, just win more games.
Now, you've been part of the same goaltending platoon. This will be the 3rd year in a row. It's yourself and it's Allison Cubberly. You guys split pretty much right down the middle year after year. The numbers look very similar year after year. Tell me about that relationship. I'm sure you guys both love to play every game, but how do you go about sort of pushing each other and helping each other get better?
I think it mostly goes, in a practice dynamic. We both have that, hunger to stop the puck, and with such a talented team, they're pushing us, we're pushing them, and both of us want to make our team better and keep the puck out of the net as much as possible. And really, in practice, it doesn't look as much as a competition as it is just both we have the same attitude to try and stop as many pucks as we can. And, when it comes down to playing, we don't have the control over that as much as a coach would, so we just bring it every day in practice, and that's how we've kept a strong goaltending team.
Talking with Elmira captain and goaltender Kara McGurry. Want to shift gears on you a bit, go to personal background. You hail from Western Canada, Winnipeg to be precise. Every player we bring on the show has a hockey origin story way back when. So tell me how you first got mixed up in the game and how you wound up being a goaltender.
Well, being a goaltender had nothing to do with being with my father, but playing hockey, it's so much of your parents' influence, and it's just a culture where I'm from. And watching on TV, I just pointed to the TV, said, "Dad, that's what I want to play." And I can't pinpoint exactly what drew me to goaltending, but I knew that the second I put the pads on, I wanted to do it. And Dad hated me for it, but did it anyways, and he always encouraged me, and that's how I got here.
Now, it is a fair ways from Winnipeg to Elmira. When you went through the college process, tell me some of the things you looked for, and what was it about the campus and the program that kind of sold you on being a Soaring Eagle?
The year I came here, Elmira College had only had a women's team for 3 years, and looking at their record, you're just like, this team's lost, a dozen games in 3 years, and it just looked like an incredible program to be a part of, and the girls sounded amazing, and it was kind of fate brought me down here, the right person looking at the right time. It sought me rather than I sought it, but I'm so glad I ended up here because it's, the best memories of my life.
You referenced Edith Racine earlier in the interview, and you mentioned when you came in year one, that was one of the things Elmira did have. They had a great goaltender, one of the best you're going to find in D3 in Edith Racine. Tell me about playing behind her, some of the things you learned from her.
I learned a ton from her that year, actually. Coming in as a freshman, she was a lot older, a lot more experienced with everything she did, and you can learn so much just from watching a goalie like that. But definitely, I was willing to put the effort in if she was willing to teach me, and she definitely was. She brought me on the ice once a week just with her and some shooters, and just watching her play sometimes was enough to get me to be a better goalie. And I'd say that's my biggest year of improvement was actually being under her.
Now, as a college student, you decided to take the path of least resistance. I see biochemistry on top of hockey. That's not exactly the one that most people go with, but now that you're a senior, you've made it that far. You've got the grades up. You've got your hockey as well, and, of course, you're going to face the dreaded questions about being a senior and what you're going to do with your future, so I'm going to ask you one as well. What are some of the things we might see Kara McGurry doing down the road, whether it be inside a hockey rink or with her biochemistry away from the game?
Well, I think my mom's asking me that same question every day now. Right now I'm just looking to graduate and, maybe take a step back, and I think I'll probably continue my education elsewhere. I just haven't decided what exactly I would like to do with that. So it'll be a little time off. Hockey-wise, if I end up back at home, I'll keep playing as much as I can. But, Winnipeg doesn't really have too much in the way of women's hockey, but, just the rec level. So hockey, hopefully I can keep playing as long as I can, coaching it, whatever, but everything's undetermined right now, I guess.
Well, let's get back to the task at hand. And, mentioned you've had 4 games under your belt, a couple of exhibitions. But now you kind of step up to one of the best events really we find in Division III every year, and that is this tournament, whether it's played at Plattsburgh, whether it's played at Middlebury, gets together some of the best teams in the country. You get a shot at the Panthers in Game 1. If you get through that, potentially a matchup with one of Plattsburgh or Williams on Day 2. Tell me a little bit about this weekend and sort of the plan of attack for this team.
Oh, it's actually really exciting. It's the first real test we'll have of our team's depth. We all know how deep it runs, but it's a matter of performance. And last year we did pretty well in this tournament, holding the lead against Plattsburgh in the third for a while. And we definitely expect those even better results than last year. It's just everyone's so excited to be able to put everything we've been practicing and training for to work this weekend in front of so many family and friends coming to such a big event.
The USCHO Game of the Week is the first ever national internet broadcast for women's college hockey. It is also individually funded. That's why the Game of the Week needs your support to maintain and expand its coverage. For more information on how to contribute, please call 212-933-0652 or send an email to uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. That's 212-933-0652 or uschobroadcast@yahoo.com.
Welcome back between periods 2 and 3. Thanks to both Carolyn Kwan and Karen McGurry for their time and interviews this week. And McGurry's in the nets today, and she is 20 minutes away from picking up a victory here as Elmira finally finding the scoring touch in that second period. 3 goals unanswered for the Soaring Eagles. Jenna McCall got it started at the 2:49 mark from Tiffany Hart. For McCall, that was the 4th goal of her sophomore season, 16th of her career. And she has an assist in the game as well to go along with her assist yesterday, so a 3-point weekend for the 4'11 sophomore assistant captain. 7:32, Kayla Cody finally put Elmira in the lead for the first time this weekend, stripping a Williams defender, walking in and scoring on a nice forehand deke. Incidentally, she had been stuffed on the same move a couple minutes earlier, but this time started it from about a half step out, and that gave her enough room to get it around Kate Schwed for Cody, the 5th of her junior season. And as we mentioned, just 1 point away from the century mark for her career, 45 goals and a 54 assists now in 60 career games. Elmira's power play finally got on track at the 9:03 mark. Beautiful play that was started by Melanie Henshaw on the far side. Whipped the pass in front to Lauren DePaul. Schwed made a great save on the first attempt, but the puck came right back to DePaul, and this time she got some air under it and lifted it past Schwed for the power play tally. Elmira 1 for 3 on the man advantage today. Williams 0 for 4. And Elmira with a 3-1 lead after 2 shots on goal, as you can see on the scoreboard. 29 for the Soaring Eagles, just 12 for the Eves, although in their counterattacking style, as we mentioned, of those 12, they've had a pair of 2-on-1s, a couple of point-blank looks as well. So McCurry, even though she has just the 11 saves, has been a couple of very fine stops on the resume today. As both teams about set to return to the ice with 60 seconds before the start of period number 3. And, of course, about an hour after the conclusion of this one, right before 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll start it up again with Middlebury and Plattsburgh. Number 2 versus number 1, 34-game unbeaten streak. The last 2 teams to win a national championship will go head-to-head again. As we mentioned, they are in different leagues, but the frequency of their matchups makes it almost seem like they're right next door. We'll go back to a year ago. Plattsburgh had the run of play, needed to defeat Middlebury 3 times over the course of the season. We did the game in the Panther Cardinal Classic of a year ago, won by the Cardinals. Then there were 2 much closer games. That game actually was the most lopsided. The next 2 would be of the 1-goal variety, a 5-4 overtime win for Plattsburgh during the regular season, and then, of course, the national championship win, also a 1-goal game. As Kevin Newell's squad, and you heard him talk about it yesterday, the process. They'd been to the semis, they'd been to the finals, and each and every time they had been denied. And Middlebury was the team that last defeated them in the national championship game, not last year, but the year before. And Plattsburgh finally breaking on through. And there's a couple of teams like that out there in women's hockey. At the D1 level, you look at like a Mercyhurst or a St. Lawrence in particular, who has been to Frozen Fours every year since 2004, but has yet to win a national title. You just keep kicking out that door. Sooner or later, it's going to fall over for you. Third period underway here. And again, Williams faced with the proposition, again, similar to yesterday, where they kind of hung around. They were in the game, but were not able to mount the necessary offense late to really put a scare into Plattsburgh. Here they find themselves in a similar 2-goal deficit. They do have a goal on the scoreboard this time, but can they come up with the winning touch? And on offense here in the third period, Kayla Cody has the winning touch on offense. Here she goes on the backhand. She scores! Kayla Cody, her 100th career point, comes in the form of her second of the day, and it's 4-1 Elmira with less than a minute gone by in the third. So Cody with 2 goals today. They've both been in transition. They've both been in space. One on the forehand, one on the backhand. And you can tell that the Elmira bench was certainly aware of the milestone as the puck was quickly retrieved by Melanie Henshaw. And Cody with her 46th career goal, 100 career points in just 60 games. So 1.67 goals and assists per contest thus far in 2 seasons plus for the junior forward from the Berkshire School. Elmira looking for more. Amanda Ritzel with a wrist shot that flutters off the skates of Huntley to the back wall. 2-on-2 scrap on the far side. Williams through center. Could have some numbers if they hurry. Thrown all the way down. Kivy lightly off the boards to herself, steps through the second level, and she's free to center with a full head of steam. Jamie Kivy over the line from her blue line position. Jamie Kivy still sweeping behind the net, looking to make a play from there. Comes out the near side. Farron Hart heads to the front as Kivy starts the cycle, and she wants a breather. So Cody with 2 goals in this game and moves to the 100-point mark in her career. Mentioned Danielle Blanchard of Plattsburgh. Got there earlier this year as well. She picked up 2 goals in the semifinal yesterday. You'll see her go head-to-head with Anne-Marie Salino in the championship game in just a little bit. Right here, though, Karen Kohlauer smelling more offense, trying to attack against Joey Lai, and the opposite number 17 comes up with a nice disruption defensively. Shielding off Kohlauer while she waits for help. Big bump by Lauren DePaul in the corner we play on as Carolyn Kwan tries to dig it free. Slapped around and not out. Body's going down as contact picks up here. Dug free by Kohlauer. Stolen by Tracy Ferreter, the goal scorer for Williams. Nice through center. And that was close, but offsides the call on Lai. Looked like the puck might have been lying on that blue stripe, but the whistle comes out against the East, and we'll bring the draw back to neutral ice. Rolling puck on edge to the Williams bench area. Grabbed and dumped in there. Fielded cleanly, and it's Tiffany Hart, left wing side. Jenna McCall, nice pass. Trying to spring Henshaw, who would have been free behind the defense, but couldn't quite handle the feed. And it rolled in on Schwed, who got the cover instead. Schwed with 26 saves and counting. Like Denise McCulloch yesterday, hard to complain much about her effort. The 2 goals that Cody scored in tight. DePaul also 2 shots from point-blank range. McCall got the deflection and the follow on their goal, so Elmira finally got to the scoring area, the low slot, the area between the circles and in. And that's where they've scored their goals, where they couldn't get those opportunities yesterday. Here's Kayla Cody smelling more offense. Can she find the hat-trick touch? Cody now just protecting. Guess she didn't see what she liked and was at the end of her shift anyway. Puts it to the corner. McCall was bumped off her skates, no call, and it slapped back the other way. Ritzel will have to come back to play it. But now the whistle comes out for icing a little bit late, so we'll get the stoppage. 3.5 gone in the third period. Elmira with a 4-1 lead. Off the draw. Shears fired it to the corner. It was cleared out. Ritzel fielding it there. Williams trying to break things up at center. Far side, Mallory Green trying to center. Couldn't find the angle. Thrown all the way down. Another stoppage for icing. Face off to McGurry's left. Farron-Hart's going to take it. Chip to the near side wall. Kate O'Brien with a drive. Rolls into the slot. Turning shot by Eli goes just wide. Ferreter was on the crease. Now Tarnaski down low. Stolen away. And Farron-Hart trying to find an angle using the indirect pass. Elmira pretty good with the indirect passing game. Even though this isn't their own rink, we've seen them use it quite effectively. Even last night they did it a couple times trying to spring that floater. And there it is again. There's the floater to DePaul through center. She does catch up, but Eli was wise to the ploy and heads her off. So Eli now spinning against the back wall. DePaul promptly steals it back. Uses the outlet up top and Steele Norton. Big windup. Let's fly through traffic. Didn't hit anyone miraculously. And winds up along the near side half circle as Kohlauer plays with it there. Up top, Kivy. Swing across now. Steele Norton again. This time takes a couple steps in. Nice sliding shot block. I think that was Tarnaski who came across. As Ferreter leaks out to the center ice area, but DePaul breaks up the headman pass and swings it near side, hoping for Hart. Tips it on through Kohlauer. Kohlauer, high slot, tees up the wrister, didn't go through, gets it back on the backhand. Farron-Hart barreling after it. Puck is lying just outside the crease. Neither team with a clean handle. Finally, it rolls to the back wall, and it's Kohlauer now trying to start a cycle with Hart. Hart on the backhand, flops it in front. Kohlauer was there, but the pass was still fluttering through the air. Couldn't knock it down. Kivy comes down from the point. She's knocked off her skates by Ferreter, and the whistle comes out against Tracy Ferreter. So Elmira, a power play opportunity already up 4-1 with 5:26 gone in the third period. Kayla Cody with her 2 goals on the day. Out there right now to start this power play and wins the draw to Tiffany Hart. The swing up top. Big drive by Laxton, and Schwed makes the kick save, parrying it to the far side wall. Farron-Hart breaks up the clear. Sends down the wall to Cody. Cody cruising down low. Lobs it near side. Tiffany Hart. Ritzel available up top. Settles down a bouncing puck. Swings it far side. Goes through the legs of Laxton. That lets Tori Tausa get a hold of it. And the foot races on through center as Morrow tries to catch Ritzel. Ritzel, smooth skating freshman defenseman, just curls back behind her own net and waits the reset from there. Slides it right wing side, feeding Tiffany Hart. On through to Cody, who tips it over the line. Cody barrels through a check. Cody creates a 2-on-1. Cody walks to the front. Lost, though, on the poke check. Follow up by a Ritzel between the circles. Wrist shot, and Schwed makes the cover. As Elmira got some looks, and now we get some pushing and shoving. A little frustration mounting here in the third with 6:12 gone, and Elmira up by a trio, 4-1. Bit of indecision here on substitutions. Looks like the McCall-DePaul-Henshaw combination with Kivy and Steele Norton is out there. Did Williams get hit with another penalty after the play? Looks like they did, and it might have been an Elmira player as well. That's where the confusion is. It's still 5-on-4 because all those penalties came after the whistle. Do not affect manpower. So 2 players for Williams in the box, 1 for Elmira, but still 5-on-4. Kivy, nice pass far side to Paul. Wrist shot, kick saved by Schwed as McCall had gone to the front. and was looking to deflect. McCall now against Kate O'Brien in the corner. Digs it free, does McCall. Backdoor to Paul, trying to one-time, but she was bumped from behind. Never got a clean shot away. McCall still after it. Controls in the corner. Elmira looking in good rhythm here on the power play. Nice skip pass to Paul. One-timer tipped by the defenseman. It was live and didn't get through. Elmira using the Z pass effectively here. As Henshaw one-touches it up top to Kivy. Right back, Melanie Henshaw blasts away from the angle. McCall settles it down, trying to return it to Henshaw, who tips it to the blue line. Steele Norton waiting right there to retrieve. Now Lauren DePaul as Williams tries to extend the perimeter. Wrist shot through traffic, didn't go through. Lively Karen fielded by Kivy. Hands off to Henshaw. Henshaw bats it to the wall. Bodies go down in the near circle. That was O'Brien and Kivy. And then Kivy, her head runs right into Tarnaski. She's shaken up. The puck rolls in front. And as Henshaw tries to dig it free, we'll see if Jamie Kivy is okay. Never saw Tarnaski coming as she was trying to get to the bench and absorbed some heavy contact as she skated off under her own power. Hope she's just shaken up, but very close to having a knee-on-head contact that was inadvertent. Trainer is immediately attending to her, making sure that there are no cobwebs, and now she takes a seat on the bench and still looks to be a bit shaken up here. With 15 seconds to go on the penalty to Ferreter. And the matching minors for hitting after the whistle still proceeding as well. Faceoff moves into the neutral zone. And the officials over to the scorer's table. Not sure what the conference was. Draw in the neutral zone, gathered by Amanda Ritzel, and Ritzel chips to the corner. Allison Page on it there for Williams, clearing attempt foiled by Kayla Cody. Cody up top, Ritzel with a screen, blasts away, deflection, Schwed made the save. And we got a penalty, I believe, not just a crease violation. I think that's actually going to be a penalty on Karen Kohlauer in front. So just as Williams gets back to 5-a-side, now they start to operate 5-on-4 with 12.5 to go in the third. Down 4-1. Elmira with 34 shots to the East 12. Again, confusion on personnel. It is still 5-on-4 because those matching minors are still going on from the last scrum after the whistle. Off the draw, Williams wins it forward. Tarnaski fired it right into the bench area. And there's another penalty. Tracy Ferreter, not sure what exactly just happened, but I think she got hit with a high sticking infraction right off the draw. So confusion mounting in the penalty department as Ferreter right out of the box goes right back in. And that one looked a little more dubious, but so now we're 4-on-4 as DePaul attacks on the right wing side. Backhand feed in front. Schwed trying to seal it on the near post. Nice job by Kate Schwed again. Amidst the mayhem in front to use her size and stay in control of the play. So two players from each team are in the box. You have the hitting after the whistle minors. Now you have the Ferreter minor for high sticking and the Kohlauer minor. Those two affect manpower, so that's the 4-on-4 situation. There's only 3 seconds difference between the two calls, so not much for either team to work with other than some more real estate, which Williams hopefully can parlay to their advantage from their standpoint, down 4-1. And here they come trying to do just that. Joey Lai with some speed, headed off by Catherine Shears. They cancel against the back wall. Bodies accumulate over there. Lai goes down amidst contact with Shears. Carolyn Kwan trying to wrap it free. Taken by Lauren DePaul instead. DePaul across for Shears. Shears spins the backhander off the wall. Lai with a drive in front. Williams players all alone, and McGurry makes the save. Tarnaski was down there. There's going to be another penalty to Elmira as Tarnaski was hit to the ice in the aftermath of that scoring opportunity. And as Shears touches up, a whistle for another infraction on the Soaring Eagles. Things getting physical, but a defensive breakdown for Elmira as Kwan and Tarnaski were both unmarked in the low slot. And McGurry forced to make a save at point-blank range to keep things at 4-1. And now things will be 4-on-3 as DePaul heads off for 2. So 4-on-3 for 1 minute and 4 seconds. Looks like Cody, Kivy, and Steele Norton opposite Tausig, Morrow, Green, and Lauren Zurek. Williams wins the draw forward. Morrow puts it to the far corner, and Tausig will give chase as they put 2 on the puck. Kivy, though, gets there first, fires it all the way down. And now it's Green back behind her own net. Mallory Green up now Tori Tausig, and Tausig carries through center. Sophomore out of New York. Drop pass, wrist shot up high. McGurry got a benefit of a whistle. She actually dropped the puck after the whistle had blown. Allowed the face-off to her right. Still 37 seconds of 4-on-3 time. As a quick substitution, Jenna McCall comes on for Kayla Cody. Off the draw, Steele Norton blasts it up the wall. It escapes the point player, and McCall gives chase through center. Williams trying to reset, down 4-1 here. Allie Morrow curling for the neutral zone. They stay just onside. Here comes Green from her blue line position, handing back to Morrow. Morrow from the angle rolls it in on McGurry, and the senior netminder clamps and holds for one more whistle. Shears is now out there, as is Tiffany Hart. McCall's going to stay on the tail end of this 4-on-3. Williams wins the draw, so they're set up. On the swing up top, Lai steps into the wrist shot, tipped in front, jamming at it, Quan. Save is made by McGurry, rebounding, they score! Elmira in protest, but the whistle had not blown, and the signal is made for a goal. And it might have been Quan, it might have been Tarnaski who got the finishing touch there. But it all started with a nice shot from Lai up top that was chipped. And again, some unmarked players on the doorstep. And Williams able to tip one past to get within 4-2 with 10 minutes to play. Now, the arm was also in the air, so there's a penalty as well. And the officials conferring. In theory, if that penalty was incurred before the goal was scored, it should be wiped out. But they're almost acting as if, as the door comes open, we might actually see a penalty after the play. And so Williams will actually get another power play back. That will become a 5-on-3 in 7 seconds as Tiffany Hart is going to the box, and there is a 2-minute minor up on the board. So this game takes an interesting late turn as Williams scores a power play goal to crawl within 4-2, and now has a golden opportunity to make things very interesting, as they'll have about a minute of 5-on-3 time once Ferreter, their best scorer, comes out of the box in 7 seconds. Although looking at how that goal was scored, hard to imagine there would have been a penalty after the play. There was no contact. Williams was celebrating. Certainly no one on Elmira took a shot at anyone after the goal had been scored. They were too busy protesting the fact that the goal had gone in because they felt McGurry had actually covered the puck long enough to get the whistle before it was tapped across. So how that resulted in an additional 2 minutes, I'm not sure. And if someone had mouthed off to the official, it would have been a 10-minute misconduct. So that's not on the board. So Hart picks up a roughing minor. And again, the referee's arm was in the air, but the goal was scored afterwards. So that should have been a delayed penalty call, and the penalty probably should have been wiped out. So very confusing stuff. But as it stands, the order at hand is 5-on-3 for Williams here. Midway point of the third period, down 4-2. And now with a bit of momentum as well. Our side, Catherine Mullen steps in for a drive. Shoulder save is made. A rebound to left. Down low, Quan reaching forward against the larger Cody. Quan wrapping it up far side. Williams has plenty of space. Will they choose to step in? Working it down low. Ritzel, fairly aggressive 3-on-5 here. Another penalty, and another penalty to Elmira. Hand is in the air from behind. Kate Schwed should head to the bench. She doesn't realize it. Schwed does not realize the penalty is on Elmira. But she should be off for an extra skater. Centering pass in front, redirect, saved by McGurry. As down the seam came Kate O'Brien. And finally, Kate Schwed goes to the bench. But even though Williams got a great opportunity, an opportunity squandered, they could have had 6-on-3 as they had possession and a delayed call. As it is, the call is cross-checking on Kivy in front. So just as the initial 5-on-3 expired, 5-on-3 again for 58 seconds with Tiffany Hart and Jamie Kivy both off. And so Williams is getting the opportunity to really climb back into this one. They must move quickly. Only 9.5 to play in the third. Catherine Shears behind her own net. Ferreter trying to dig it free. Ferreter has the inside position and finally frees it up top for some space. Ferreter takes the return feed, half circle far side. Motion employed by the power play. Near side it comes. Thrown toward the front. Deflection just wide on the back side as Mallory Green was unmarked and pushed it just wide of the mark. Ferreter, far side, 30 seconds on the 5-on-3, but an errant service and takes the puck out of the zone. Williams will have to hurry here to get reset before the 5-on-3 is over. And now another bad pass thrown as Shears takes over. She has plenty of time to hammer it all the way down. So it looks like Elmira is going to escape the 5-on-3 situation. And now we're down under 9 to go in the third. Williams speeding back the other way. The lead pass is broken up and cleared by Natasha Yates. Haven't seen a lot of Yates today. Actually been more of a shorter rotation by Paul Nemitz-Carlson. But here's a pass in front off of scramble, and McGurry has to cover it as it bounced off one of her defender's skates. And the draw will be in her end. 59 seconds now, 5-on-4. As Williams has been able to get some attempts off. They now have 21 shots on the board to Elmira's 34. Still 4-2 Soaring Eagles, 8.5 to go in the third. Yates off the draw. Winds it off the wall, looking for Cody. Fielded by O'Brien, but stolen by Kayla Cody, and Cody is away shorthanded. Cody trying to work her magic, hands off Erica Godwin. Godwin from the angle, tucks the backhander wide, and there's going to be a penalty on Williams as Godwin was dragged down. So finally, Williams, after they had been the beneficiary of the officiating the last few minutes, getting a couple of 5-on-3s consecutively, they will now be hit with a 2-minute minor. That was a pretty clear infraction as Godwin was hauled down from behind. And Allison Page heads off for 2, so 4-on-4 for 40 seconds. And then Elmira restored to another power play. And that's actually been one of the reasons why the rotation has shortened, is that there's been a lot of penalties, especially as the game has gone on. And so we've seen a lot more of just those 2 units going both ways, especially for Elmira. Off the draw, Williams with the clear. Here comes Carolyn Kwan motoring down the right wing side. Kwan trying to drive to the middle. Lost on the poke check to Steele Norton. Moves to the back wall instead. Kate O'Brien holds it in front. Kwan turning, fakes, walks it to the front and tucks the backhander just wide, but drew another penalty on the Soaring Eagles. Carolyn Kwan, some crafty stick handling. Thought she was going to let that one rip right away, but instead trying to pull it to the backhand and rolled it just wide, but drew another infraction into the penalty box. The party continues, as this time it's going to be Lauren DePaul again. So second minor for her in rapid succession, and 4-on-3 again, as this third period grinds to a halt due to many infractions on both sides. Kayla Cody chips it nicely to center to kill off some time. Back to get it, Lauren Zurek. Zurek has Ferreter ahead, goes right wing side instead to Mallory Green. Green over the line, Green up high, shoulder save McGurry. The follow poked wide by Green. Green's had a couple of good looks in these power plays recently. Tiffany Hart starting ahead. Has players with her if they hurry. Nice steal on the back check, though, by Green. And it's Ferreter counterattacking. She, in turn, dispossessed by Laxton, but they stay on side. The follow comes from Tarnaski. Lost on the stick check, and Cody gets the clearance. 53 seconds to go, as both teams now skating for a side. Ferreter, far corner. Wheels away against Hart. Slides down low, Tarnaski. Tarnaski trying to walk to the front. On the backhand, she scores! Sam Tarnaski! And Williams has climbed back within 1. It's 4-3 with just under 7 to play. And because that's a 4-on-4 goal, yeah, that's correct. Lauren DePaul actually forgot there's still a Williams player in the box, so she headed to the bench. So because it was 4-on-4, we stay 4-on-4. So Tarnaski picks up a goal. Nice little backhand move out in front. And so Williams staging a late rally here. A little bit of help from all of the penalties that have been incurred, but they've taken advantage to their credit. And they're back within 1. So Kwan was credited with the second goal. And here's a chance in front. Oh, and McGurry, the glove save to save the day for Elmira. Couldn't ask for a better look than that. Kate O'Brien, unmarked, walked down the slot, one-timed it, and McGurry, the glove stop, keeps it 4-3. So from a game that was very quiet early in the third after Elmira had grabbed the 4-1 lead and Kayla Cody's 100th career point, Williams has made things very interesting, and the officials have made their presence felt as well. As it's 4-3 and could have been 4-4. Kate O'Brien put that shot where she wanted to, but McGurry said no, and it stays 4-3. So Kwan got the second goal off that scramble for Williams, and Tarnaski gets the latest. So Ferreter, Kwan, and Tarnaski for the Eves. Cody has 2, McCall and DePaul as well for the Soaring Eagles. Mini power play for Williams with DePaul still in there. And that's going to be wiped out as Cody's hard work along the boards draws a penalty to Williams. And so that score sheet for its fractions gets just a little more crowded. It looks like this time it's going to be Kate O'Brien who's sent off. So O'Brien had that great scoring opportunity just a minute ago. And now she sits for 2. And if you're Elmira, 4-3, all of a sudden this power play becomes very important, not just from killing off some time, but from an actual offensive standpoint. As Williams has gotten back into it. That's the one thing, having seen Williams a couple of years in a row, that team does not give up. They continue to work. And yes, they got maybe a few breaks from the officials and got some 5-on-3s and some power plays to help, but then, grinded their way back in and potted a couple chances. So they find themselves very much in a hockey game against the number 5 ranked team in the country. As this consolation game, the Panther Cardinal Classic, has taken a bit of a dramatic turn here down the stretch. Williams is short-handed, but killing off some time. Finally, McCall able to take over, and here's Henshaw through center. Henshaw on the left wing side. Trying to go backdoor, a low percentage pass. A lot of Williams skaters in the passing lane. It was tipped out of play. Now the official back to the scorer's table, actually just looking for a new puck. And so we'll bring the draw back by Schwed. With 5:24 to go in the third. Shots on goal, as you'd expect, with all the penalties. And Williams desperate to come back. Have evened out quite a bit. Elmira still has 34. Williams now up to 25. And down 4-3. Down low, Jenna McCall. Now Henshaw. Henshaw. Last one high and wide. DePaul takes over far side. Steele Norton swinging it, but Kivy couldn't hold the line. And so Elmira's going to have to pause and come back to center. Williams gets the clear once again. They still have 55 seconds of Elmira power play time to deal with, and then they can set about the task of searching for the equalizer with just under 5 to go in the third. Tarnaski monitoring Kivy. Ferreter a couple steps behind. Pass cross ice, finds Steele Norton. Steele Norton over the line. Shot is blocked. Follows handled by Kivy. A Williams defender has lost her stick. Cody trying to take advantage and put it to the front. That was knocked away for the moment. Mallory Green contesting for it with Fahrenheit, and Green wins that battle and saucers it down the ice once again. That lets Williams get a change and allows Lauren Zurich to pick up her stick. Only 12 seconds now left on the penalty to Kate O'Brien. Coming up on 4 to go in the third. Williams down just 1, 4-3. Cody has a pair, maneuvers to the corner. Hart heads to the front. Cody going back door. Shears rolls it in on Schwed. Save is made. The rebound is goosed out of the crease area, but not out of the zone. Ritzel holds. Now Shears throwing to the front. Rolling puck back door. Slapped away from Tiffany Hart. Cody retrieves. We're back to 5 aside. As Cody weaves her way into the high slot, teeing up the wrist shot. That didn't go through the thicket of legs and skates in front. And it's promptly cleared down by Tori Tausig. McGurry's actually going to play this one aside to Ritzel and keep play moving with 3.5 to go in the third. Catherine Shears, far side, matched up with her opposite 16 and Carolyn Kwan. That pass behind Laxton, but went on goal, so no icing. And Schwed turns it behind the net for Joey Lai. Lai with 3:13 to go. Lob pass up the center of the ice. There were a couple of Williams skaters loose. Again, it was Ferreter and Tarnaski, but that pass too hot to handle. Tarnaski seals it off in the corner. Ferreter losing on the poke check to Steele Norton. Now Carly Richardson near side. Swarmed under by a trio of Williams attackers, and it's Ferreter down low. Ferreter working her way behind the cage, bottled up by Steele Norton and canceled against the back wall. Steele Norton has a player ahead. It's Huntley if they can see her. They couldn't get it to her in time, and Huntley just waits along the blue line, cruises over into Williams real estate, and motors down low with 2.5 to go in the third. Big collision behind the net, and that one should go the way of the East, as Huntley had the momentum disrupted, so that's going to be the call, and that's going to make things tougher for Shannon Bryant to get her goaltender to the bench. With 2:34 on the clock, looks like Joey Lai off for checking. And so Elmira have a chance to take care of most of the rest of this clock on the power play. And at worst, 5-on-5 if Kate Schwed is brought to the bench. Off the draw. Stalemate just outside the circle. Roll up the near side to Melanie Henshaw. Henshaw half circle, now Kibbe. Big windup, blasts away, blocker down by Kate Schwed, followed by Henshaw. Schwed's got that one as well, and smothers it in the crease with 2:16 to go in the third. Coming up on 4 p.m. Eastern time. A reminder that the Plattsburgh-Middlebury game is set to start at 5 p.m., but they'll probably run a full hour between the two, so it may start a few minutes after 5. Shot in, tip, they score! The two Hart sisters, Tiffany the shot, Farron the tip, and the puck goes over Schwed's shoulder for the insurance Elmira needed. It's 5-3 with 2 minutes to play. And you wonder how many times in their career that's happened. One Hart shooting, the other Hart tipping, and they both wind up in the score sheet. And Farron will get the finishing touch there from the younger sister's offering. Nice tip, too. Got the tip high into the upper 90. Not much Schwed could do as it went over her shoulder, and she's not a small goaltender. So big power play for Elmira. That's really saved them this afternoon after it struggled much of the season. They got that power play goal in the second period, and a critical one there to stave off the Williams rally with just over 2 to play. It's 5-3 in favor of the Soaring Eagles. Cody picks up an assist to go along with her 2 goals. So Hart from Hart. Hart to Hart. And Cody on the secondary assist. And Tiffany's still out there, floating the puck through center with 1:45 to go in the third. So a wild third period here as Ferreter moves through. Nice moves by Tracy Ferreter, but bumped off her skates. Penalty coming up. So maybe one last bit of drama here as Tiffany Hart's going to be assessed a checking penalty against Ferreter, and that's probably going to set up a 6-on-4 finish with Schwed off and the draw down in the offensive zone. But, of course, Elmira will be able to shoot at the empty net with impunity since they can't be guilty of icing. And with all these penalties, this game has dragged on a little bit later, so that's why I'm wondering if they'll start the championship a little bit after 5. So from your perspective as a viewer, check back around 5 p.m., close your Windows Media Player if you're watching this game, and then click on the link for the second game around 5 p.m. and Shannon Bryant will burn her time out here. So a flurry of activity in the third period. First, it was a scramble in front for Williams. Actually, first it was Kayla Cody scoring her 100th career point in the first minute of the period, 55 seconds in, on a breakaway. Second breakaway goal for her. Then it was Carolyn Kwan for Williams getting one back off a mad scramble in front where Elmira thought they had covered the puck, or McGurry had covered the puck, and a second offering by Kwan snuck through. And that touched off a couple of 5-on-3s and a number of odd man situations for both teams. 5-on-3, 4-on-3, 4-on-4, really dominating play. And in one of those 4-on-4 sequences, Sam Tarnaski was able to tuck a backhander pass to make things 4-3. But then most recently on the power play for the Soaring Eagles, Farron Hart tipping Tiffany Hart's shot from along the boards with Kayla Cody picking up the secondary assist. So Tarnaski has a goal and an assist for the East. Cody has 2 and 1 for the Soaring Eagles. Jenna McCall has a goal and an assist as well. And now the draw will be to the left of Kara McGurry. Indeed, Schwed is off. 6 skaters on. Ferreter will take the face-off against Tori McNeil. Williams down 5-3. 2 extra skaters and 90 seconds to work with. Ferreter, far side. Down comes Carolyn Kwan. Quan against Kolauer. McNeil hacking at it. And McNeil got together hard on the far side with Burglass. And we got a penalty here. And the penalty's on Torrey McNeil. So, in a scene perhaps reminiscent of the national championship game in men's Division I hockey a couple of years ago, in which Denver prevailed over Maine 1-0, I believe that was that year. This game is going to finish 6-on-3. 6 skaters for the East, 3 for the Soaring Eagles, and Williams needs 2. Elmira gets a key clear here, so all the Williams skaters have to touch up. As over the line comes Burglass. Couldn't get it deep, though, and Cody clears it once again. 1:05 to go in the third period. So a wild finish to this one. And maybe not over just yet. Fired in deep. Williams will give chase. Ferreter will get to it in the corner. Elmira can't afford to be too aggressive as there's 3 unmarked skaters at any one time. Live. Far side. Shot taken through to McGurry. Save is made. Puck is loose outside the crease. He's still trying to cover it. Finally, we get the whistle with 44.7 on the clock. Big huddle in front of the Elmira net. Don't think we're going to get any additional infractions off of this one as Quan hands McGurry her stick. McGurry tries to reset all of her gear. The draw will be to her right. 6-on-3. Now this third period certainly hasn't lacked for drama or action, but time is running out on the Eves. They have to get the shots to the front in a hurry. No way. Another penalty was just called on Elmira. Well, you can't make it 6-on-2. So Kayla Cody's going off. So really the big blow there is the fact that Cody can't finish out this game on the 3-player situation. But there's 3 Elmira skaters huddled in the box, and Jenna McCall is over to talk to the official. Who appears to be playing the role of almost a traffic cop on the 31st of the month, trying to get his quota in for the horn sounds. That penalty looked very marginal because it looked like the 2 Williams skaters actually might have gotten together and tripped over the linesman as opposed to Cody. And Cody couldn't believe it when the whistle came out. But as we said, with the situation already 6-3, the real blow is just not having Cody to finish the game. It doesn't affect manpower any further. And for Williams, still 41.1 seconds, so they've got to score and score quickly. Actually, the only situation where that third penalty would really be significant would be if Williams was able to tie the game, because then they would still be on the power play if the game went to overtime. So unless that happens, then Cody's departure is really more an issue of not having 5 out there. And so McCall's going to take her place. As Ferreter will square off on the draw. Now Shannon Bryant at conference with the official. And if you're Williams, they're going to be very aggressive trying to score, but you got to believe there's going to be a very short leash on their physical play. As Ferreter hacks the puck free, McCall up the wall. Williams trying to hold. Lie will. There's lots of numbers in front. Tarnowski reaching for it. Shears, though, bats it out of harm's way. 30 seconds to go. The mad scramble is on, but McCall has it on the forehand down low. A host of black jerseys waiting. In front, pass was denied, looking for Burglass. Joey Lie tees it up, looking for the tip. Oh, it rolls through the stick of Kate O'Brien to the far side. Only 14 seconds now on the clock. Ferreter throws it down low. Tarnowski camped out on the crease. Centering pass denied by the skates of Kivy. It looks like Elmira is going to survive the siege. One more shot. Burglass wrist shot. That's blocked by McCall. And the horn sounds as a wild third period between Elmira and Williams ends with the Soaring Eagles on top by a count of 5-3. But it was anything but easy down the stretch. Elmira bench off the bench quickly to congratulate Kara McGurry and the 3 skaters who put in the yeoman's work in those final 60 seconds during the 6-on-3 situation. Good effort by both teams today. Kayla Cody, 2 goals and an assist, including her 100th career point to pace this Elmira attack. And the late power play tally by Farron Hart provided the much-needed insurance. And how big does that Hart goal look now, given what happened afterwards in the penalty department as both teams shake hands. Good weekend of work for both squads, something to build on for both squads. But Elmira picks up the win in the consolation game. Williams starts the season 0-2. And now we look forward to the championship. Plattsburgh and Middlebury, 1 versus 2, 34-game unbeaten streak. The last 2 teams to win a national title will get it on in just about an hour's time as we're just past 4 p.m. Eastern time. So again, the instructions, shut down your Windows Media Player. Come back around 5 p.m. Eastern Time, pop up the link for the second game, video or audio, and away we go. Number 1 versus number 2. Good start to the day here on day 2 of the Panther Cardinal Classic. Elmira 5, Williams 3. We'll be back in just about an hour's time.